Hello, everyone. It's me, Jennifer Rizzio, and we are here for another conversations with really cool people doing really cool things. Such a mouthful. It's like a Dr. Seuss book, but with really cool people. I mean, I'm sure there's cool people in Dr. Seuss, right? And I'm with Eilis Philpott. I'm so excited you're here.
I'm excited to be here
Uh,
too.
the dog has been barking nonstop all day, so everyone's gonna have to deal with it because I do. But we want to talk about energy vortexes today. Can you tell me what that means and how can we use them and why should we know about them?
All right, so I will tell you my understanding of an energy vortex. What I see as an energy vortex is I see it in the shape of a tornado. So it's literally something that's getting bigger as it goes up. And when you are in an energy vortex, you are in the energy of that vortex or that tornado. What the energy is dependent on whether you set up the intention, which is the idea. And the way I work with energy vortexes is setting up the intention beforehand for what the energy vortex will be bringing in and supporting whoever is in that vortex to co-create, create whatever it is that they're desiring. So what I love about these energy vortexes is they are bespoke. So they are unique and individual to each person that we co-create this energy vortex for. So
What I
someone,
love about this conversation though is that
yeah,
you are using a lot of magical words.
yes,
And I don't think that A, we use enough of those magical words, and B, people really understand the power truly behind our voice and using our words to create, right? And so, what would an energy vortex feel? Because I know you do a bunch around receiving, but what would that feel to someone who's in it?
okay,
And what would
so
change afterwards?
yeah, I will give you some examples. I think that's the easiest. So, um, what it would feel like, so what I've heard other people describe it as is comfortable, very expanding, in that a person is feeling home to themselves, so embodied. Um, and because it's unique to that person, it's not jarring. It's like this is their energy, but kind of a millionfold. So this is their creation energy. So far, it's kind of not that the concept is new, but the way I've been working with it is pretty new. And people have requested, like someone who's in a relationship that doesn't feel the most positive. And her request was 24 hours of clarity around what her next steps, internal and external, should be regarding this relationship. So she did her 24 hours. Immediately afterwards, she started placing intention around getting herself out of that situation. She went on a retreat, she moved back with her family, and worked with the significant other in how this relationship proceeds, if it does proceed, and what steps we need to take. So
That's
that's just
huge.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this energy vortex is uh, it's magic for
Yeah,
one.
it's
But
magic. I mean,
yeah,
that's what when people talk about energy vortexes, they are mostly familiar with it with places on the planet
yes,
where the energy is so you could taste it,
yeah,
right? You can there you walk into that area and you're like, what's different here
yeah.
versus our muggle-like, human-like self. There's a definite understanding of we magic is real, energy is real, and here's an example. So what you're talking about is it feels like to me is like the ability to expand our own energy so it creates a good black hole because black holes suck everything to it, right? A good black hole of goodness in
Mhm.
order to increase what we want to experience or generate more goodness of clarity, understanding, love, all of that.
Right. With the addition of, because your body, your physical body, so your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies are contained in this and bask in the energy, but your energy systems, your body can be recalibrated while you're in that vortex to allow it to be easier for you to receive. Because what I realized was that people don't have the capacity or the ability to receive whatever it is. I mean, someone gives you a compliment, it's like, oh, blow it up. But this is from that level of receiving. I need to shift something internally. And a lot of us have done the internal emotional work, but this is the internal
Energy.
physical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a physical, it's really rewiring your energetic systems.
totally. And setting down new neural pathways and returning anything that's not working into the light and back to the void so it can be reused again. So it's it feels very new paradigm to me. And I love it. It's
I
like
bet.
I'm
I
really
mean,
strong.
listen, I love anything that does the heavy lifting, right? Like I'm all for internal work. I'm all for that thing. But so often we are dragging ourselves into a new consciousness where we don't have to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I love to do is like, I don't know how to work it out, God, like work it out in my sleep. Like
Yeah.
do your thing so I can wake up and go,
Absolutely.
got the answer.
Yeah.
And, what I also noticed sometimes for me is that, I've spent a lot of time alone, right? I have a boyfriend, he's been splitting his time between his parents' house and our home. And that's given me a lot of time to think or
Mm.
reflect. But moving, now he's full time here, moving when he goes out to work or when he goes out back to his parents for a day or two, I'm like, oh, like lots of energy moving, lots of stillness, new things come in. And I think people aren't, because we're surrounded and bombarded by energy all the time, most of it not our own. It seems like to be put into that vortex allows you to go, oh, wait, I
Right.
can be on the holodeck and really focus on and really move and shift internally what I want to
Yeah.
without being bombarded by everyone else's stuff.
Yeah, totally. And the other piece that I've added to it is that you're working in all 24 dimensions. So it's like not just this physical here 3D reality, it's like all dimensions are involved. So it's a multi-dimensional energy vortex that's created. And as you said, it's you're in it. You're in it and you are buffered from the external world. In fact, you're in it so much that one of the instructions is to periodically, like once an hour-ish, check in with the energy so that you're reminding yourself, oh, this is what I'm up to. Because otherwise we can go into unconsciousness around it. And it's like, oh, it's happening, it's doing its own thing. But this is new.
Right.
This is new for many of us. So it's like, okay, let's just step back into the energy in consciousness and tell our bodies, this is new. What are you feeling? What's the sense?
Yeah.
So
And humans are so good at making things like a lampshade, right? Meaning like it's always been there. So I was
yeah,
driving Warner to his parents yesterday. We were driving to his parents yesterday. We passed this church where we make the turn to his parents. And I passed this church 100 times. And I said to him, has that giant cross always been there? And he looked at me, he's like, "Huh?" I was like, hello, does a giant, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't remember seeing it. He's like, something's different there. So
yeah,
I'm like, do you think they removed a tree? He goes, I don't think the cross is new because it looks a little rusted, right? But I think so often we tend to do we tend to tune out
yeah,
things because we're so focused on our goal instead of being in the flow of energy. And I think people who are very conscious are, it's just beyond being, it's more than just being in present time. It's actually really being present with the
right.
energetic flow of things. And that's where magic is created, right? That's where manifestation is. So this sounds really cool. Okay, so how do people get in touch with you? How do they get more of your goodness?
I have a website.
That's
So
good.
soulhealingjourney.com, SOUL, healingjourney.com. My programs are on there. You can reach me at, I have to spell this, Eilis, EILIS, at soulhealingjourney.com. I'm on Facebook. You can message me, but they're generally the way that people reach out to me. Messenger I use a lot.
I love that. And my last question, I think, is, because we're all connected, right?
Mhm.
And, if someone shares a soul language with me in common and they're in this vortex, what does that allow, since we have that energetic thing in common, what does that allow me to do, knowingly or unknowingly?
Ask me that question in a different way.
Yeah. So if Jane, your client, has just gone through a receiving vortex,
Yeah.
and Jane and I share Graceful Warrior in common, how does that impact my energy?
Yeah. What I'm thinking of, so Graceful Warrior is one of the warrior energies, obviously. And if this person, Jane, has perhaps looked at the conscious versus unconscious aspects of being a warrior, which she may have done as she's a graceful warrior, it's going to help connect with that energy on an even deeper level than she has before.
Yeah.
So depending on where she is with that relationship with graceful warrior and her unconscious versus consciousness around it, it's either going to bring her to the conscious aspect of it, or if she's already worked with that, bring her to it at a deeper level, so that it's not as much work to shift as if it's like, oh, this is conscious warrior characteristics, this is unconscious warrior characteristics. How can I shift from here to here? And you've created some very great processes for moving from here to here, but this takes it to a more organic place.
Yeah, the way I see it is, if Jane does the vortex, that also gives the entire energetic line of Graceful Warriors the opportunity to decide to integrate that energy. It's going to be different, of course, but it
Absolutely.
gives us more fuel to work with on a conscious level, and a lot less effort. And I think that's really important. I think people forget that they're one with everything.
Yes.
Right. And I think being in that energy vortex will allow them to remember that and utilize that in a whole new way.
Yeah. And I think that's what's surprising. It's like I've had nearly 30 people do it, and I've only been doing it for a month. Is And I was away on vacation for a week of that, is that this really does shift things. Being in that energy vortex really does allow the changes that um, they're soulfully designed to experience to happen in more of a flow.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for the invite.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. Bye for now.